right, here we go. This is Chuck Worley coming to you hot at 6 p.m. on every Wednesday night with the 757 House Whisperers Show. Want to invite you guys to come every week and listen to how we can help you guys fix your houses in the 757. Our goal as the founder and person that came up with this show is that the whole reason I did it was to help people fix their houses, because you don't know what you don't know. I was talking to a friend of mine this afternoon. My dad was a CB in the Navy. Anybody in construction, anybody in the military knows the CBs can fix anything. My dad could literally fix anything, and heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, all maintenance. He was doing, I never realized what a valuable upbringing I had when I was growing up. So when I wasn't allowed to go out and run and play baseball and soccer with all my friends, I did do sports in high school and stuff, but like when I was younger in middle school and whatever, he was pulling me under the house. He was pulling me up in the attic. I'm the bull gang, pulling wires from one end of the house to the other, crying, just, oh, Dad, I want to be he holding up 4x8 sheets of plywood. I'm 14 years old. I'm about 100 pounds soaking wet. And I am like sweating, holding this sheetrock up in the air while my dad's zip screwing on both sides, and of course, Dad's like, put the ASS into it, hold that thing up in the air. I'm like 100 pounds. This sheetrock weighs more than I do. But I never realized the value of the trades that my dad was teaching me. I knew what gas line was. I knew what heat and air was. I knew what plumbing was. I knew what PVC was. And I never realized the value of the upbringing that I was having, because, I couldn't go play with my friends, so I didn't care, right? I was mad.
I had the very same dad.
So I was talking to somebody, and I don't know if he's listening tonight, but Paul Vasquez and I went to Norfolk Catholic High School in 1987. We're all state champs in wrestling, and John Vasquez and Steve Walters. And we ended up going, they went to Old Dominion. I went to Norfolk State, and they built this bunk bed and up against this wall on this it was a little cottage that this guy worked at the shipyard and literally brought wood home from Norfolk shipyard every day and built a house with it. Like it was, yeah. I don't know if he stole it. I just think it was just rotten wood and crates and all this stuff. And he just grabbed wood as he was walking out. Like he'd have big blowing 2x4. Like he just,
well, he didn't hide it.
He didn't hide it. Yeah. He's just taking pieces of wood out, builds this 750 square foot house. So there's like 5 of us living in this house in college.
Oh, Lord.
So, but anyway, they build this bunk bed, right? They build this bunk bed, and somebody's going to die. Like,
no doubt.
There's like one nail, so anyway, they I say, who built this? They said, we built it. And I'm like, no, somebody's going to die. So I go home, I steal all my dad's equipment, get all his tools, his skill saws, all this stuff that I don't realize. It was kind of like wax on, wax off. Yep. Like I didn't know what I knew. And so I come in and we go to Lowe's and or Home Depot, or putting 4x4s and 2x6s. And, they had like 1x1s, like built this bed. So anyway, I come back. You can land a 747 on this thing.
I'm
now,
sure.
Right? This thing is like, and the reason I bring up that wood is because everything was like lath, sheath and lath. Like he brought all this wood home from the shipyard. And so you couldn't miss the wood in the wall because it was all sheet and lath. Is that the right word? Sheet and lath, like behind the not drywall, but plaster. Like, so it was all. So anyway, we're I couldn't miss. So I wasn't good, but I knew enough to what I was doing. So anyway, I got 16 penny nails. We got, so anyway, we put this thing up and land a 747 on this bunk bed, right? So my guys, my dudes are like, we're like 19, right? He goes, man, how did you learn all that?
My dad.
And I did not. It was the wax on, wax off moment for me. It was like,
just knew.
Holy crap. Now I got to say he taught me something, like I knew all this stuff. And I realized that
as you get older,
this show, one of the reasons that I came up with the show was because some people weren't raised the same way I was, and they didn't know what they don't know. Like why do I have water in my house? Well, you don't have gutters on your house. Like that's one reason, so, but like, who would somebody think about? I mean, a housewife or, even an engineer.
Yeah.
He's not a roofer. Like he's smarter than me.
That's why a lot of people that are in the trades are in the trades because of the way they were brought up.
You're right. Yeah, we got
because I was brought up. I had the very same dad.
We have Ronnie and Noah Wolf work for us. Their dad was a plumber. They were plumbers.
Yep.
Like they're doing great. I'll be talking about them later in the show. Ronnie Wolf and Eric Warden had a run-in last week. Eric's Tankless went awry, so I sent my boy Ronnie over there, and he took care of him. So he's like, "You're not coming?" I said, "Dude, I hire smart people. I'm gonna send Ronnie. Don't worry about it." I got Julie texting me, "Hey, I want to make sure this guy knows what he's doing." I was like, "He's smarter than I am. Like this, you'll be fine." Like,
that's why I hired him.
So anyway, they had a great experience with us, but he's going to be calling in a little while. But so back to the show. I am Chuck Worley. I own Worley's Home Services. I am the founder and host of the 757 House Whisperer Show. The reason that I named it the House Whisperer Show is because I didn't want it just about Worley's. I wanted it to be a whole house as a system. Everything goes together. I got a great pest control. We got Albin with building and remodeling. We got Mike Davenport with CVP windows and doors. We got Jack Keller, legacy painting. Like, I just didn't want it to be a show about, hey, Chuck's great, Worley's is great. What I wanted to do was say, hey, look, I want to bring a team of people in here. We're not related. We don't have businesses together.
Friends,
I mean, we refer each other back and forth, but like I wanted to put a team together that, hey, look, we have a specialist that takes care of this part of the house. So I'm not I can't build a house, but I know enough to be dangerous, right? So I wanted somebody that was smart and could handle that. So anyway, we're and then why don't you introduce yourself, since I introduced rudely. Don't tell my wife. I was very rude, and the lady of the house is not last or least. But you are last, but not least.
She'll know.
She's listening, rolling her eyes.
Oh, yeah. Well, hi, Julie. I'm Cindy Rowell. I'm owner-operator of Alpha Pest Solutions. We've been in business for 5 years. If it creeps or crawls, I can get rid of it for you. We do inspections for real estate purchases and sales. So if you're buying or selling a home and you want somebody to look at it, all of my inspections are free. I do not charge to do that. We do termite treatments, powder post beetles, carpenter ants, carpenter bees, fungus.
I got a, was it you that was telling me about the post beetle?
Powder post beetles.
All right, let's get back to that.
Yes.
I want to go to Eric Warden, just called in, and Miss Tina, if she can send him over. Hello, Mr. Eric.
Mr. Chuck, look, if you're going to talk about my man Wolf, you got to get the story straight.
I told you that I would send somebody over smarter than me and a better plumber than me, and I did not let you down.
Well, you didn't. In fact, I got to tell you what, we appreciate all of our advertisers. Of course, I'm with the Sinclair Company, have been for over 20 years. My wife's been there for a lifetime, and we support those who support us. I had an issue, certainly at the Warden household. We live in a home that's old. It's 105, 106 years old. We were the only house that wasn't plumbed in the neighborhood for natural gas. And we had intended, after having a brutal winter last year, it wasn't that the weather was so bad, just our house is not equipped. And our heating system is not equipped. We had an $800+ electric bill 1 month this winter, so we knew there was going to be a change coming. And one of the things we were going to do was upgrade to gas. We started with some kitchen appliances, and we had them install, the larger volume line, because we knew we'd be adding some things along the way. Little did I know that the hot water heater was going to go out literally, I don't know, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And so suddenly I'm sitting here, I'm talking with a guy who works in the same field. They send somebody out. Nice folks. I'm not going to name any names, but I will say they came in. They said, yeah, the lower part of your water heater, it's got two elements, and the lower element is out. But the upper element will continue to heat the water sufficiently for a little while. But you probably should start working on a next plan. Well, guess what? We go through this happened on a Friday. And on Saturday, Sunday, we had no water, no hot water, none. Cold water, nothing but uncomfortable showers. We had to go next door to the Dudley residence, who, by the way, Cindy is from Yorktown. She loves you. And
awesome.
but they let us use their downstairs shower. And so we're like having to traipse over there. I do a morning show over on Bob FM. I get up at 4 o'clock so I can go over to Troy's to shower. It's terrible. So Chuck sends this guy, Ronnie Wolf, out to the house. What a nice guy. He does this on a Monday. And I'm telling you what, folks, within 24 hours, we were installed with a brand new Navien Tankless hot water heater powered by gas. And we got rid of the electric unit. They hauled it out, gave us more storage inside the house. I mean, it was awesome. The install was done by two guys I want to give shout-outs to, Hanlon and Jake formerly of State Farm. These guys were awesome. They were kind.
That's great.
Yeah, I asked
funny.
him,
He did a video for us and just had everybody in stitches, man. I told him he should probably think about getting into entertainment. He should get into entertainment. Yeah.
Well, they both did such a great job. They were kind, super respectful, cleaned up after themselves. They did the entire job on a Tuesday, and we had hot water basically 24 hours after Ronnie Wolf had left the house. So I'd like to clap for the Wolf men, as the guest who used to say, and I want to thank Hanlon and Jake. I want to thank Chuck. Now, Chuck sent out 2 trucks at first. You probably, and I mentioned this to him, you've heard of, I like wine, the inexpensive stuff, the $3 Chuck, which you'll get at Trader Joe's. We had a 2-truck thing going on. And then Chuck sent a third with the electrician to get a new outlet put in. And suddenly it was 3-truck Chuck. It was outstanding. So I just like to say the
Not
customer
to be
service
confused
was
with
great.
Megabuck Chuck.
We're totally enjoying the Navien tankless water heater. We get tax rebates on that in addition to the clean, the efficient, the reliable, the abundant that natural gas provides. We love that part, and we love supporting local. This is a family-run organization. I grew up in radio, worked for my dad, family-run all the way, and I just dig it. So I want to thank Chuck, thank your guys, thank Ronnie, thank Hanlon, Jake, and the unknown electrical dude. And at this time, I'll go ahead and leave you with the rest, and I'll take your answers off here. Thank you very much. First time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the kind words. I want to remind you guys to call in any questions about the house. We got pest control. We got Cindy here tonight. We got me with heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, crawl space encapsulations, spray foam insulation, which I probably need to call Eric back. We probably need to talk about some spray foam in that house because you just can't stop. Some of these older houses, 100-year-old houses, they're like wind tunnels.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in Norfolk. I mean, I grew up in Norfolk, so it's
that's part of the reason why his bills are so high.
Yeah, I mean, we got to stop the heat from leaving the house. It doesn't matter how efficient the unit is, the heat's going to leave.
Yep.
The heat's going to leave the house.
Yep.
So
or the AC. Either one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So more so in heating because heat rises and goes out. But we got ways that we can stop that. But I want to thank Eric for calling in. We appreciate the kind words.
Yeah.
And actually, we had somebody last week when I was in Mexico saving sea turtles.
Saving sea turtles.
Yes.
It was a terrible duty, wasn't it?
It was terrible. It's terrible. So you guys got to go to my Facebook, Chuck Worley. We haven't posted it on Worley's site yet, but we should. And because my son, I have 2 children. One is going to save the world. She's
female.
She is wonderful. She is a beautiful Skylar Worley. She is she just lights up my life. I love that child, but she wants to save sea turtles for a living. Like that's her dream. So for the last 4 years since college, marine biologist has been saving turtles every 6 months. She's launching like thousands of turtles. So we're on our way back. Me and Julie go to Mexico last week and to Puerto Vallarta, PV, and had a great time. We support Girls on the Run, and we did a auction thing and won this penthouse with the highest bid or whatever to go to Puerto Vallarta, 3-bedroom condo for Girls on the Run, and we were so happy to support them. And we got a free not free, but I mean we got $1,000. It was a lot. So anyway, we had 3 bedrooms. We brought Julie's niece and her husband, and we had a fantastic time down there. So we're going out there fishing. On our way back, we see this thing that looks like a raft, and we go up to it, and not oh my, that was some lightning,
Yeah.
or thunder. So we go back, we're on our way back and we see this thing. So we don't see one, we don't see two, we don't see three, four sea turtles. And one of them was probably 30 inches wide. Like
Oh, wow.
it was
On the raft?
no, it was stuck to fishing line. Some jerk did not cut his fishing line or it broke loose off of a commercial boat, I guess. And I guess shrimp were in it. And of course, these turtles are not agile at all. They are not agile at all. So we had 4 turtles that it took us almost an hour to cut loose 4 turtles. And of course, we pulled all the line in. The fishing boat guy, I didn't think he was going to stop. I'm like, look, I will jump off this boat and you will have to stop. Like we're not, I cannot tell my daughter I saw 4 drowning turtles and did not save them. Like, no.
Nope.
So anyway, we got them all cut loose and, it was cool. So I sent a video to my daughter. I should get, dad of the year for saving 4 turtles, but me, Julie, it took 3 of us to pull that turtle in. The fishing captain was great. It was a super experience. So, but hey, while we go on break, we got a mandatory break at the half hour, but please call in 627-7979. Any questions about heating and air, electrical, plumbing, anything about your house, call in 627-7979. Chuck Worley with the 757 House Whisperer Show. Guys, come on and call in. We got about 30 minutes left. Please do not wait to the last 2 minutes of the show. 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had like 4 people call in with 30 seconds left. I'm like, we really want to get to your questions about problems with your house, from your gutters to siding to heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, pest control, windows, doors. In fact, let's go ahead and you want to introduce a couple people, and then I'll introduce the others.
Okay, well, we've got Mike Davenport is usually here with us. He's not here this evening. He is owner of CVP Custom Windows and Doors. Only manufacturer of windows and doors in this area. He does that in Newport News. So if you're looking to get some windows redone, just somebody to come out and take a look at it and tell you what you need, he's a great guy. We'll treat you right and do the right thing for you. We also have Albin with Albinco. He does remodeling, kitchens and baths, but he also does custom homes as well. So if you're looking to spruce up your house a little bit for the summertime, and you want to, doing a room addition or redo your kitchen or one of your baths, Albin's the man for that job. And we got Jack.
We got Jack with our Young Bucketer group. He just told me yesterday he just hired his 8th employee.
Excellent.
At 25 years old, man. The guy's killing it. He's doing a great job. He's actually on 3 jobs for us this week. He's doing some work here at my office. Somebody was taking a truck off of a tow truck, and I guess they didn't have brakes, and it went into my building. So he's fixing some sheetrock on the inside of the building, and he's doing some work for one of our job sites. We did some plumbing, but had to cut a wall out or something. So anyway, I am Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services. I want to remind you guys, 627-7979. Call in, ask any questions about your house. We have specialists on here that can answer your questions. 627-7979. I actually have a trivia question, so maybe somebody can call in with that. Did you know that Wyatt Earp was married?
Yes.
What was his wife's name? And I'll give you a hint. She was from Brooklyn, and she was a Jewish immigrant from Prussia, which I did not know, which is today is Poland. So anyway, the other two, the other question about Mr. Wyatt Earp was, who was his companion, the gambler, the gunfighter, the frontier dentist, and friend? Don't tell. Yes, my favorite actor.
Yeah.
That everybody says he had all these different shows that he was so great at. Batman. I forgot he was in Batman Returns.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. The only show that exists in my mind. I mean, even Iceman was great.
Yeah.
But man, I think
He killed that part.
crushed.
Mhm. He killed that
That
part.
was the best. We ought to vote on that. Like, what Val Kilmer was
Who was
the
the
best acting or the best character that he played.
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like he lived that.
Yeah. It was
Like,
he was perfect.
oh man, I just love that.
Mhm.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I was
But
sure
what
it
was
says that.
what was his name? What was Wyatt Earp's best friend's name? So the wife's name, best friend's name, and we even give you a really good hint. So anyway, 627-7979. We're sending you a gift card for just calling in, answering a question about trivia or answering a question about the house. Any questions about the house? I know people have heard that we are having some issues with getting Freon. I've got a couple people in my industry that have been telling us it's coming. We are at the 10,000 feet level looking. I've had a couple guys that I've run into, smaller guys that are just, they're looking out their windshield. They're not forecasting and looking ahead. We're looking ahead, what's coming down the pike, and we're seeing all this problems with finding Freon. Like this new Freon is it's not somebody was texting me on the show, but yes, it's not Huckleberry. Anyway, so anyway, talking about the Freon is hard to get. So what I'm telling people, call now. I'm not trying to just sell you heat pumps and air conditioners. I'm telling you, now is the time to get your system in before we have a scarcity of Freon. I mean, it's like going back to COVID where we couldn't get equipment. It is going to be extremely hard.
What's the reason for that? Is it
so they're switching it off? The EPA actually had in January.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
The EPA. I deal with them too.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's.
You don't have to tell me anything else.
Yes. It is a very, very frustrating situation because the new Freon, which they're not making enough of, or they can't make it fast enough, they had a deadline of like January, and of course they pushed that back because the manufacturers were like, you can say January, but you're not getting the Freon. Like there's just not enough being made. It's just not being mass produced enough. And then I was talking to a fellow contractor in Richmond today, and he was like, yeah, it's $200 a jug. I called back to buy these 2 jugs that were left up in Richmond, and there was $1,100. I just talked to you Friday. Like it is absolutely ridiculous what's happening in our industry. So I've actually got a friend of mine that I've got calling in. Tina, I think that's him, Dwayne Cotton. He is a friend of mine. You there yet, Dwayne?
I'm here and ready to add my 2 cents worth.
All right. So what I was concerned about is like telling people these things. Hey, look, call now, get your systems in now, because Freon is going to be an issue. I didn't want it to be like a sales pitch to people calling in. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to educate people on fixing their homes and taking care of their homes. But this is real. This is worse than COVID as far as getting material, getting equipment. And I've been watching you. We've been friends on Facebook for years and friends in our industry for years. And Dwayne had a very successful company. sold his company over 10, 15 years ago now, made a gazillion dollars. Now he's rich and famous. And now he's, every now and then he hangs out with us lowly heating and air guys now. But no, good friend. And I said, Dwayne, could you kind of, call in tonight and kind of kick your 2 cents? Cause you've been talking about it for a couple months now on about the shortages and stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm going to let Dwayne kind of tell what's going on, because I think you're doing a great job educating people on that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, and I just want everyone to know it, before you get to a point to where you have no AC, like your AC is not working or whatever the case may be. I know a lot of people in the real estate industry now. I'm a, systems built, custom home builder, and we do a little bit of mechanical work, kept my license and all that. And that's why it's affected us, and the little bit meaning, really for us, our projects or friends of mine, project managers or property managers. And what we're finding is that, you can get 454 or 32 R32 equipment or 454. There's a couple different refrigerants, different manufacturers sell different, types, right? So let's just say the majority of them are using 454. Well, you could buy a new system with the refrigerant in it. And now that unit may be charged for, as you know, Chuck, 10-foot refrigerant line.
Yeah, it's like 10 foot. It only has enough Freon for 10 foot of Freon line, which the average Freon line, and I'll say 50 foot is the average Freon line set. I would think maybe even longer.
Right. So you can get the equipment pre-charged for that 10 foot or 15 foot, depends on the manufacturer. But what if your line set, like you said, is 50 foot? Well, if there's no refrigerant, 454 or 32, whatever you get, if there's none available, then how are you, going to then add I think 0.06 ounces, whatever it is per foot? How are you going to add it if you can't get it? So some supply houses have said,
then you got a brand new system without enough Freon.
Yeah. Right, and and we'll only sell you a drum if you buy a system from us. So you can't, as a service company, get ready for these things. If something happens to one or whatever, you want to be prepared to have some. Well, you can't get it. But
yeah, and I mean, we're trying to buy pallets of it. We're trying to, and of course we buy a lot from these manufacturers, so they're going to be selling to me before they just sell one drum to somebody else. And but even us, we're struggling. Trying to get it, trying to lock it up.
Yeah. Well, no, I will absolutely say that what you're describing is 100% accurate. We've dealt with it. If you think about a new home, if we have and we build pretty quick, right? So let's just say my schedule's 3 months. Well, guess what? If I can't get the equipment when I need it, or I can't get the refrigerant to finish the line set, now I'm thinking to myself, well, I wanted a split system. I wanted the furnace or the air handler in the attic at a certain location, the outdoor unit. Well, now I'm starting to say, wait a minute, the units that we use come with 15 foot of tubing. Let me try to design my location of indoor and outdoor so they're within 15 foot. I mean, that's pretty sad.
Yeah. And I mean, a normal builder, without your experience in our mechanical business, a normal builder is not even going to cross his mind. Right. He's not going to care about that. So he's going to put the system in. That new construction guy, which, is there is a market for that. It's normally the new construction kind of low budget contractors just slamming systems in as fast as they possibly can. They're not going to be able to get Freon. Like I mean, and it's not really their customer; it's the builder's customer. So like they're going to be dealing with their customers, right? So anyway, I just thought it was important to kind of talk about that tonight, get people thinking. Hey, look, my system's 15 years old, 12, 15 years old. I probably need to think about, if I'm going to do it, I better pull the trigger now before, we start struggling getting Freon and getting pieces of equipment.
Yeah, because you may not, if you want something done in, say, 2 weeks, it might not happen in 2 weeks. It might be 2 months. Yeah, you never know. So it's a real concern. So I'm glad you're bringing it up and talking to the masses about it, because everyone needs to understand it is an issue. And I think the biggest problem are the tanks. They have special release valves on them and reverse threads and all this other stuff. So apparently that's been an issue, but we knew it was coming. So why are we short?
Yeah, I think January. It was supposed to be January 1st, 2025. Was like the cut drop dead. Everything's going to this new Freon, and that's it. And the manufacturer's like, "Hey, bub, we can't produce it that fast. Like that can't. You can't do that." So.
Right, and I think an issue, Chuck. You remember when 22 was phased out and 410 came in? There was an overlap period. There was a period where they could make both, you could buy both and install both. Now it went from December 31st to January 1st, and you have to think some manufacturers made a lot of equipment ahead of it because they had a sell-through date. So if they built it, you could sell it. They couldn't manufacture anymore. Right. And so here we go. We're in that lull, and let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I guess the EPA is pushing this. I'm of course fearful of anything with propane in it. You know, it's a I don't know. I was not for the big jump to putting propane in the Freon. So I know it's safe. I know it's got a fire rate. What's that word I'm looking for? Burn rate. Like it doesn't catch on. Right. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like it's like 212 and from boiling to with their flame. It's flame retardant up to what's the flash point. That's exactly the word. Thank you, sir. See why I surround myself with smart people. So the flash point is really high. It's not gonna, but that stuff still. I still get nervous that something bad is going to happen, but the flash point is really high and it's not a big deal, but I don't know. It's got propane in it. So here we are trying to get away from propane and, or get away from fossil fuels. Yeah. Get away from fossil fuels. And then I'd like to meet the salesman that came up with that idea to put propane in Freon so that we can use more propane. That guy was a hell of a salesman. So, because we're trying to stop using fossil fuels but let's use it for, Freon, which is, in every air conditioning unit in the, world. So, it
doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll give you that.
Yeah. And I mean, me and you've been in the business for, a long time, you a little bit longer than me, but I never dreamed that we would be, where we are now with the Freon situation. Like you said, I remember, and you were saying I was long in the tooth because you said I remembered R12 and R22. So you're saying I'm getting longer in the tooth here. So
happens.
All this gray beard is not helping me.
Hey, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it really wasn't for the final phase out. But in '93 when I was in the apprentice school at Newport News Shipyard, I remember we used to use R11. So we'd replace out these compressors that were literally the size of a Volkswagen Bug. Mm-hmm. Like these compressors were just massive chillers, five compressors underneath these big chillers and up on these flight decks and stuff. And so we'd come back and it was like you were working on a car, like we're replacing gaskets on them. Anyway, so I'm going back to the thing. So you actually could spray R11 on your arm and it would literally drip grease off of your arm. It was a cleaner that we had what is that stuff called? Go-Go, the JoJo juice or whatever. You could wipe your arms and what's that stuff called? For cleaning. Yeah, Go-Jo. Yeah. So like after you're working on your car, you use it and it's like a white pasty stuff. And it would clean up, but eventually. But with R11, you could spray it on your hand, and the grease would just fall into the sink. Like it was a great cleaner. And then that was in '93. And here's a funny: we used to have a bottle of R11 above the sink. So when you're having a dirty job, you literally just used R11 to clean yourself. Like it was great. But then in '94. They had the OSHA guys coming by and they're like, what the hell is that? Yeah. Like, you got to get rid of that. You can't do that. And they're like, but it's a great cleaner. So anyway, we got in trouble for that. But
I figured
we had to get rid of that. But anyway, So, well, thank you for Dwayne for calling in. Like I said, I didn't want people to feel like I was just trying to sell air conditioners. It really is trying to educate. This is a public service announcement show where we're telling people what's going on in houses, what things are coming up. My goal is to forecast, let you know stuff that's coming up, let you know stuff that's going on, and just be a source of education for our 757 listeners. So I appreciate you calling in, Dwayne.
Absolutely, Chuck. Anytime.
All right, buddy. Thank you. So that was a kind of a third party, contractor. Dwayne Cotton is his name, and he does like modular homes and stuff like that. So fantastic guy, really smart guy. So anyway, how would you like to talk about that post Beetle thing?
Powder post Beetles.
Yes.
So
tell me about that house you told me about
so
that made me cringe.
In Windsor. I go everywhere. I do go everywhere. And, well, actually, probably the last few months, every house I go underneath is just a sad, sad story. But, okay, I was told that there was nobody had been underneath this house for quite some time. And I was like, great. And it's about 100-year-old house in Windsor. And I was like, oh, this ought to be good.
Yeah.
So I don't get 8 feet into this crawl space. And
what was the hint though? What did the realtor say? Like something about?
Well, nobody's been under there, and we're pretty sure that there's going to be some damages under there.
Okay,
pretty sure.
So she knew.
Yes,
she knew.
Pretty sure there's going to be some damages under there. And I was like, well, that means there is, because they don't like to admit that.
No.
So I get about 8 feet in, and the main girder for that entire house is just I mean, there is no girder in it. I don't even. It's just sitting on top of the piers, sitting on the piers. And then I'm looking around, and every single joist is.
So you would think termites, but you're saying
it's powder post beetles. It's just little. So if you don't know what a powder post beetle activity looks like, it looks like little pinpoints all over the place. This wood was just covered in little tiny pinpoints. So that's when you know you got powder post beetle. But the whole wood just crumbles in your hand.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But I mean, that house is easy.
So you didn't even need a screwdriver.
Yeah, I could stick my finger in it, and it's not safe. So I'm going back out tomorrow morning with my repair team, and we're going to tell them what it's going to cost to fix that house, because everything underneath it needs to be done. Everything. They've even got some of the piers are sitting sideways. I mean, just
so it's not concrete piers. It's
brick.
It's brick. It is brick piers.
Old. Yeah,
so
this is old.
Oh wow. Okay, brick. So like Norfolk. Norfolk has a lot of brick piers.
Just like that.
So yeah. So you definitely need to keep in mind you've got to have an inspection.
Yes.
Cindy is willing to give you a free inspection underneath your house to
Yep.
check out your house. If you have not had somebody under your house in a year.
It's just like going to the doctor. Do you not go to the doctor every year and get a medical exam for the doctor to say, hey, this is going on, that's going on? Why would you not do that to your house?
I mean, I would say there's probably been 5 or 6 years in a row that I did not do that. But since marrying the angel, Miss Julie,
that's changed, hasn't it?
That has changed a bunch.
Yeah.
So, so I do now.
But you have to, because it does not take long.
I'll be 57 in October. So yeah, you got to take care of yourself.
You
right?
do. You got to take care of yourself and your home. But one of your biggest assets is going to be your home.
Yeah. So interesting. I've never heard of a powder post actually crushing really. And so did you see them? Were they there? Were they were gone?
But I'll show you some pictures afterwards so you can know.
Okay, but they were gone?
No, they're still there.
They're still there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to
really
treat for them. So you got to kill them off, and then you got to make the repairs, because, I mean, they're all up inside the wood, right?
The guy that I use that works for me now, he's really good. He actually will remove the damaged wood and put in new. So your crawl space will look brand new.
Okay.
And that I like that, because if you've missed one little area or something and there's still activity going on, you don't know. But he removes the bad and puts in good. Yeah. And that's the way it ought to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, we're going to go around the horn one more time. I am Chuck Worley with Worley Home Services. I've got Mike Davenport with CVP Windows and Doors. We got Jack Keller with Legacy Painting, and we have
Cindy Rowell with Alpha Pest Solutions, the only woman you know with a license to kill.
That is correct. And we can't forget about Mr. Albin.
Mm-hmm.
He does our remodeling builder, new construction builder, and remodeler. And we do appreciate you guys coming and listening to us on Wednesday nights. Put it in your phone, put it in your reminders to tune in on the app.
Listen while you're in the traffic.
Listen while you're in the traffic. But go to the app, download the app onto your phone so you can listen to us when you're not in your car. And then Spotify and Facebook Live, and we're trying to repost these things. So anyway, this is Chuck Worley and the 757 House Whisperer Show. We appreciate you listening in.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.